waiting for people to come back, and then we are going to go straight on to the next match. This is, of course, the group stage, the round of 24 of the magnificent TLS3. And next, we're going to see a TVT on Destination between Cryoc and Skyline. It's going to be highly interesting, hopefully shorter than an hour, but longer than 5 minutes.
That sounds like a good range. That sounds like a good range, Elegant.
That's the kind of TVT range. And I would have to say, in this one, I'm probably going to favor Skyline, although I haven't seen him play for a while. That's purely kind of a historical thing. But I know that Cryoc is a very, very active player. I know he's been practicing hard recently. So there's always the chance for a bit of a flip around, one of the old guards to be taken down by a new boy. You never quite know.
I mean, in Gambit's Cup, as far as I know, they were 1-1, right? So yeah, definitely a chance here for either player. And TVT can have some build order shenanigans.
Yeah.
Not quite as bad as... Actually, I think TVT is probably the mirror matchup that's least affected by build order wins and losses, right? Because you can get some pretty stable openings, and obviously Terran is so good defensively that there are some pretty safe things to do. I mean,
but Cryoc...
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh yeah, Cryoc. I feel like he's one of those guys who, if there's a defensive option, he's probably going to opt for it. I think his repertoire isn't that varied, and that's probably largely as a result of the fact that he's come a long way in a very short time. So he hasn't had that much time to perfect that many strategies. But I feel like it's probably either going to be some kind of two-factor. We're going to see him go into a pretty drawn-out game if he has his way.
Well, in that case, I think I'm eager to find out what will actually happen in the game. So, Elegant, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go into the second game, game number 2 on Destination between Skyline and Cryoc. Alright, so apparently in fixing audio I broke video on that, which seems suboptimal. Oh well. At the 12 o'clock position as the teal Terran, we have Cryoc, and at 6 o'clock as the purple Terran, we have Skyline.
Yeah, so we do. I hate to bring it up, but what's gone wrong? I like to keep on top of the technical screw-ups. Go along.
The intro video has audio now, but it has no video.
Well,
so I fixed one and not the other, which seems suboptimal.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's not perfect. But oh well, what can you do? You know, some days it's just not going to happen. You just got to accept that.
Yep.
I'm sure everyone loves you enough to kind of to see through this minor glitch.
I hope so.
It's not Sales' fault anyway, guys. It's the software. Blame the software.
I don't know what happened, man. Like that, XSplit was my fallback. It was my go-to thing. I was like, oh, this is definitely gonna work, and then nothing's working. It's terrible.
Unfortunately, we're not sponsored by any of the guys who make XSplit. So we're happy to kind of go on about how terrible it is. It's all good.
It's disappointing because like between OBS and XSplit, like they both have amazing features and they both like work really well in some ways, but neither of them, they're both missing some features that the other one has. Like OBS has global sources, which I think is just the best idea ever. And XSplit doesn't have it. So instead of adding the sources separately to each scene, so every time you change a scene, it has to load all the things you added to it every time. XSplit has global sources, meaning you just add the source once, and OBS always has it loaded no matter what scene you're on. So you can just change scenes. So there's like no delay with webcams or anything like that. And I assume it'll like also save memory, perhaps. I don't know. Or actually, no, that's the opposite. It'll use more memory, but to give better performance.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really explored into OBS, but yeah, I personally think XSplit is really great, and it kind of surprised me that you're having trouble with it. I've actually never had.
I didn't have trouble with it in the previous seasons. Like I always used XSplit.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like it's not happy with my new computer or something, or I just installed it wrong or something. I don't know.
It's dropping in your computer there.
Yeah, I don't. It's really weird.
Oh, that is a bit strange. Oh well. Usually so trusty, but today not so much. We have a complete mirror so far from these guys, both of them getting their factory. Right now, we finally have a difference. Skyline lifts off his barracks, whereas Cryoc does no such thing. But they're both just going completely blow for blow at the moment, so we can relax pretty nicely. Although Skyline does have 3 guys on gas, whereas Cryoc only has 2, presumably deliberate and not a mistake. So see how that plays out. I'm interested, though, to see what you say. I'm never quite sure what's the third base on Destination. Is it up the ramp or is it over the bridge?
In TV, not in non-TVT. So in TVZ or TVP, I would say it's the one over the bridge is probably better, especially in TVP.
Yeah.
But in TVT, I think it's less clear because if you take like the base on the top of the ramp, that also protects you from getting tank dropped behind your natural, or even tank dropped on that actual cliff, which is really annoying. Yeah. So it might actually be better to take that just to keep your natural safer as well. I'm not sure. In the meantime, we actually see Skyline going for a starport here, and Cryoc going for the second factory.
Yep. Which is surprising because he's only got now 1 SCV on gas, so presumably this isn't going to be anything heavy. It's going to be big vultures, yeah. And presumably this won't be. I can't see how. Oh no, hang on, it might be scattered because we do have a barracks floating over here from Skyline, so he could get a decent look in. Cryoc's barracks is also floating out, but interestingly, significantly later than Skyline's. I think he chose to make an extra marine or so. Those marines are going to get very quickly taken out though by these vultures, and he needs to block his ramp. And there's 2 more vultures down the bottom ramp. He's hiding his 3rd vulture up at the top there, and looks like Cryoc will come out on top of the micro war. A direct trade right there with vultures, but it might not last very long. He needs to keep on top of it and needs to take down that other vulture. Won't quite be able to, and he's going to have to bust out that next vulture as well. But here come 2 more vultures, and now unless Skyline's very careful here, he could get quite badly rushed. He has very little in the way of ground defense, though he does have a siege tank nearly out. But even so, this is a little bit of a dangerous situation for him. And here go the vultures now. He's about to get a full scout on this, and the Wraith is about to go into Cryocs main.
He's going to catch this vulture as well because he got. Oh no, he's not going to catch the vulture. I thought he was going to catch it because he got speed. And that tank, wow, getting that nuke. If those vultures had just run straight through, they could have picked off the vulture and actually ran past the tank. But now the tank's blocking, so he's going to have to use mines to actually clear it out. But mines is a little bit of a ways away, and I don't know what that barracks is doing landing there. But where's the first Wraith actually? Oh, the first Wraith is actually stopping the engineering bay production. He's got 1 SCV already. There's an armory. Yeah, there's an armory being produced as well. So just gonna have to build both of those in the hope that it's gonna be enough. Meantime, 2 tanks are now blocking the ramp, but of course some spider mines laid there should clear them out. It doesn't matter how many there are there, the splash damage will scare him away, and there's a lot of vultures here. Now, how many he's going to wait for? It looks like his mines are finished. Here we go. He's going in with 8 vultures. How good are the mines going to be? He's going to have to be perfect mines here. Oh, man, the mines is getting targeting down straight away. There's 1 mine, though. That could go off. Is it going to go off? Oh, 1 hit. It's not quite enough, though. He needs to get some better hits here. I'm a little bit surprised there's no more targeting. Yep, he gets 1 of the tanks, but it's not quite enough. Decent targeting, I think, there by Skyline. He definitely manually clicked some of those mines. Yeah, he seems really on top of it. Now we could have a mine going down, but no, he seems really capable of taking down these mines as they get laid. Really nice. Oh my god, 8 kills between the Wraiths as well. Elegant, 9 kills now. These Wraiths are just doing maximum damage. The engineering bay did finish, but there's 3 of them here. Are they even going to be able to finish a missile turret? I mean, he can now make Alliance, but he's just going to take an insane number of damage before anything can come out here. 10 kills already now, and these vultures are not able to get up the ramp. All he can do is mine contain Skyline, but in the meantime, Cryoc's economy is just getting ripped to shreds. He just can't finish any of the turrets. He's finally got 1 in the back, but that's not in range of anything. Oh god, there's even a Marine! What? Skyline is making Marines! Oh my god, Skyline! He's just pulling out all the stops here. Just too many kills. There's like 15 kills now. The Marine didn't even die. He was microing that guy like a boss. There's 2 Marines now. What is he gonna do? Okay, finally the Goliaths come out. Wow, that was hideous.
Cryoc landing in all sorts of trouble. He even had a barracks building marines in his own base. That is bad times for Cryoc, and he is now way behind. 33 supply to 46. That is pretty horrible at this stage of the game, especially in a mirror matchup. That is just that's really, really nasty. And now here we have the push out. There's quite a significant minefield there right there, though. If those vultures can tank fire as the tanks move forward, then that could actually take out a decent number of the tanks as he goes. They are going to have to move forward in order to actually clean out those mines. We have a couple of mines popping out now, but siege tanks are really good at killing mines.
Just as you say that, he blows up a tank.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, Terran mech generally is pretty good at that, since, you know, Goliaths and tanks both have instant shot, unlike Dragoons, which have to have the little plasma bolt fly over to the mine, which is not quite as good. But yeah, it looks like Skzlime is going to clear out his knife. There's a few more mines there, but should be able to take care of that pretty easily unless he gets unlucky. Cryoc, by the way, is just attacking with 4 Goliaths. Is that really the best move in this situation? Like, seriously?
No, I don't think he's actually going to attack. I think he's just being a bit kind of marchy. Not really.
Marchy.
It's just like, okay, this isn't going well. We got to do something. You guys look busy.
These Goliaths just have some happy feet here. They just got to run around a little bit.
Goliaths look cool when they're kind of wandering around.
They do look cool. I got to give it to you.
Them go. They're awesome.
They are pretty badass.
They look pretty unbalanced though. Like if a Kakaru flies overhead and wafts them, they could just fall right over.
Well, I mean, they're like what are those Star Wars things called? AT-STs?
ST.
The 2 leg walkers are the AT-STs, right? And the 4 legs are AT-ATs? Oh man, I'm losing all kinds of nerd cred right now.
Aren't they AT-PTs, the walking ones?
Are they? Oh man, somebody quick tell us in chat before we look even sillier. Oh, hold on, wait, what is Skzlime doing? Where's tanks? What the hell? Wow, suicide attack with vultures and wraiths before his tanks get there. That was not ideal. It looks like he's going back as well. He's got, what is this, 4 tanks against 3 now, with a good number of vultures supporting. I think Skzlime might take it, but it's going to be close because the vultures are not actually that good in these straight-up engagements, so it looks like he does have enough. But Cryoc doing a good job targeting down the tanks. He knows those are the threat. The vultures are actually not really a threat. Although it looks like he is going to actually maybe win with the mines. He's going to.
Very nice by Cryoc. I saw that going completely the other direction there, and I think Skzlime would have agreed with me at the beginning, but very, very well held from Cryoc, and it hasn't really evened up the supply, but he could have easily lost it right there. Very gutsy defending from this guy. I like it very, very much. Now pushing out with a couple of vultures to try and do a little bit of scouting, harassment kind of action. Still no sign of any real aggression from him. We don't have any starport or anything like that coming in. He's out a bunch of factories now, so it's going to be a while before he's got any real legs in this game.
Skzlime trying to be cute there and snipe a vulture and ending up just losing more of his. Oh, but he gets one anyway, which is a bit unfortunate for Cryoc, although that's not the end of the world. And yeah, in the meantime, you know, things have sort of stabilized. Funnily enough, Cryoc's got more factories than Skzlime now, even though his economy presumably is much worse. Oh, it's because Skzlime's lost his barracks, so he can't even make more factories. Yeah, forgot that the Goliaths actually took that down quite a while ago. But yeah, otherwise, Skzlime's in a much better shape. I mean, just look at his saturation at the natural compared to Cryoc. It's just so much better, and he's mining the gas as well.
Yeah, much better. Those
oh, we got a dropship elegant on the left side in the back of the main. Here we go.
So we have. It looks like he's actually going to ferry things in. He's got two more vultures ready to follow those 4 vultures. That could be really bad. Cryoc's already ailing economy. He's going to be in so much trouble after this. Vultures may not be as effective against SCVs as against other workers, but they can still do a pretty good job. He's able to grab a couple, not doing too much damage yet. We might be able to lay down some mines, and then it might start to get a little bit edgy for poor Cryoc. He's losing a fair number of SCVs in this anyway. Pushing back with some tanks now. I'm not sure that this is maybe full efficiency from Skzlime, but he is landing some vultures behind the natural mineral line as well. This is so bad for Cryoc. His saturation, as I was about to point out, was already way behind his opponent. If you look at the natural expansion for Skzlime, and indeed the main as well, it just doesn't even compare with what Cryoc's fielding at the moment.
Yeah, really effective. I didn't even notice that the vultures went back to the natural. I thought he was just going to ferry them into the main again. Somehow snuck all the way around, and here we go. More SCVs falling. Cryoc not even noticing this time. He's pulling some units back. He's not even bothering to pull the SCVs though. And yeah, Skzlime is really putting on a clinic right now. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. You know, going into this, I wasn't really sure what kind of shape Skzlime was in. I heard he was a little bit inactive, so I was a little bit nervous for him, but he's looking pretty solid right now.
Yeah, looking, surprisingly. Yeah, this is a little bit of a nasty situation for Cryoc, I think, because he's not dead and he's not quite on his way there yet. But I can't, especially in TVT, it's going to be a long road for him to get back on top of this, because you just have to inch your way. It's very rare that you get sort of a big break where it really switches around in TVT. So if there is a way back for him, it's going to be a long one, and I strongly feel that Skyline's going to be able to take him down before that. And Skyline now getting a third base as well, blocking it with one of his own vultures, which is slightly curious. Finally moving the vulture now. But yeah, this is going to be really difficult for Cryoc, especially because of the matchup.
Yeah, although on the other hand, I think compared to the other matchups, you know, given how hard it is to actually kill your opponent in TVT, it might help Cryoc in getting to that long-term game and trying to make the comeback. You know, it's not so easy to just mass up a big, a huge army and just move your way to victory in TVT. You know, if you just run into siege tanks, it's an easy way to just throw the game away. So, so I think Cryoc might still have some chances, and you know, he's about 13 supply behind right now, and as the game progresses, that will kind of gradually get less and less relative to the actual, you know, overall supply, and thus matter less, which is definitely useful. In the meantime, he's still producing pretty well. You know, he's laying mines around, getting some decent map vision, making sure he doesn't get dropped anymore. So he's still doing a decent job. He's got his tanks kind of wandering around in the middle here. He's got to be a little bit careful not to go out too far.
Yeah, that's a little bit funny, and especially if there's dropships at large as well, then he needs to be in good position all the time. Although, having said that, he does have some decent mobility. He's not going to confined to any one area of the map, but if his main gets dropped, then he's going to be in some significant trouble indeed. He does have a couple of mines laid around, but I don't think that's going to be enough. The tanks should be easily able to take those out as they land down. It looks like the dropships are going to head over to the left-hand side, and that's quite a lot of dropships. 4 dropships right there. That's a significant army flying through the air towards Cryoc right now, but he does have mines on the left-hand side, so he does have good map vision.
Oh man, he's got Goliaths on the way.
Did Skyline just scan ahead and see those mines? So it looks like he's going to really hug the edge of the map, so Skyline might be aware that there are mines there for spotting. Those Goliaths might be in the perfect position to take those dropships down.
No, they're going back.
See them.
They're not going to see them, Elegant, and the Wraiths actually saw the Goliaths as well. It's not going to be there. Something is getting blown up by siege tanks as well. Oh, siege tanks actually from Cryoc down the right side, but it doesn't matter because his main is about to get dropped here by a huge drop. There's one mine in the middle. It doesn't look like it went off, and here we go. Skyline is in the main base of Cryoc. There's 2 siege tanks in position. It looks like the tanks of Skyline siege a little bit later, but that doesn't really matter here. He's got such an overwhelming numbers advantage. Cryoc going to use some of his SCVs to try and tank hits here, and it looks like it's going to work a little bit. He's going to get a couple of the siege tanks, but wow, how did that siege tank actually get a shot off? I thought it died, and then it shot from death there. But it looks like Skyline is still holding strong here with 3 tanks and a Goliath.
Yeah, he's not going to be moved from there without some significant force on the part of Cryoc, and I don't think that's a good idea. Sending those vultures in a little bit too early. Where's the siege tank support? Here comes the siege tank support, but that was a slightly mismanaged little push back there from Cryoc. He's finally going to be able to probably take these tanks out, but that was not cheap. Oh, taking down one of his own SCVs there as well, right at the end. Adding insult to injury. Oh no! Skyline on the right-hand side doing a nice drop on top of a tank position, which has been established by Cryoc, and that is really bad. Cryoc's army is in tatters right now. He's lost.
The Goliaths might catch the dropships though. It's going to be close. Oh, you might get one before it drops, and it looks like no, it's going to drop in the mines though. They're dropping on mines, and whoa! Huge mine there. Looks like the SCVs should just attack the tanks or something. No, there's no tanks in the back. Okay, never mind. They should just. Oh my! What? What is going on? How did everything die? What the hell?
Insane. That was insane. All the tanks just basically shooting on each other at once right there. That was crazy.
I thought Cryoc would just die right there, and yet he just cleaned up the entire attack.
But the supply did go against him even in that little assault. He just lost so many SCVs and other bits and bobs that he's fallen back. Sorry?
We have a reload. The dropship's going up the left side again. There's one hero Goliath who's going to stop everything himself. If he can target the red dropship, he could actually kill 2 tanks. But I don't think he will. I think he'll target that first one.
Yeah, it looks like it.
He might get that one.
Nope. Wrong. Very unfortunate. But he does know that the drop's coming in now. He's able to move. Single Goliath, that's not really going to do it. He's going to need a few more Goliaths.
Target the red ones.
But you're sending a green one first.
Target the red ones. Target the red ones. What do you target the red?
I don't think he's aware of the red ones. Unfortunately for Cryoc. And almost getting a mine hit there, but it's almost impossible to get a decent mine hit on siege tanks, it seems. Lucky Terrans. All those dropships are somehow able to make it out, and Cryoc once again has the unenviable task of sending siege tanks to their deaths to try and clean this up. And honestly, I just don't know if he has the army to actually deal with this at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. It looks like his units, oh man, he's just throwing them in piecemeal now. This is not ideal. His buildings are kind of working against him. It's kind of like earlier where the minerals were actually blocking him from going for the attack. So he's just using the SCVs. He's trying to pull a trick like he did earlier, just use the SCVs to kill the tank. And it's actually going to work again. He's going to clean them up with the help of these 2 Goliaths. Yeah. So, you know, his main is still barely holding on, but it looks like in the meantime, Skyline is getting another base at the left side and at the right side as well. So going up to 5 bases against the 3 of Cryoc is not looking good. Was it 75 supply against 128?
This is, yeah, this is slipping further and further. He's lost, like, the gap has grown by about 30 supply in the last 5 minutes or so. It's just gone from bad to worse for Cryoc. He looked like he was going to be able to stabilize, but Skyline, as any good player should know how to do, was able to just continue to capitalize on his advantage, which is what's really separated the 2 this game. And now this is looking grim. Skyline is establishing another base on the right hand side. Cryoc, he definitely can't push up there, and I'd be surprised if he's going to be able to defend his main against yet another huge drop coming in from Skyline.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. It looks like he's just pulling back his meager forces. He's left a few tanks to help defend the right side. But, oh, it looks like we're going to get a drop on the factories this time. This could actually be even worse because he's also going to range the top of the ramp. So any units walking up will block into siege tank fire. And here we go. Cryoc going to try and hold on to his main, but it doesn't look good. I do not see how he's supposed to repel this force anymore. He's attacking up a narrow ramp into a siege tank position.
That's just not going to happen. His main base is done.
GG! Skyline takes the win and goes on to the winner's match. So our winner's match is going to be Skyline versus True Touch, a TVZ on Aztec, and the loser's match will be Dragon versus Cryoc. And Elegant is muted.
A very worthy match indeed. And yeah, I think that's going to be.
Oh, Elegant, you're dead again. Is somebody in your room messing with you?
Maybe. What's happening?
Your audio like keeps randomly cutting out.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good now. You're good to go.
I have no idea. Maybe I'm like treading on a cable or something. But yeah, I felt like Cryoc just wasn't quite up to the challenge there. He did some good stuff in kind of Andre fashion. He pulled out some things where you looked at it and thought, wow, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. But in the end, he just didn't quite have that killer instinct that Skyline had. It was just all over him in the middle stages of the game.
Yep. Well, that's about it. I'm pretty happy that Skyline's in this good shape that he is now. That means we can look forward to a good game against True Touch, I think, especially because it's a TVZ. Although, actually, funnily enough, compared to a lot of Terrans, Skyline's TVZ doesn't particularly stand out to me as being that impressive. I mean, it's certainly good, but
yeah,
you know, unlike a lot of Terrans, you know, a lot of Terrans are like TVZ specialists. They're like, oh, you know, super good TVZ. But Skyline's like, oh, he's okay.
I mean, being a specialist is all well and good, but in the TLS, you're going to be seeing all kinds of things. You can't be a specialist. It's not like a clan league, which is why individual leagues are kind of so much harder because you've got to play against the full range of everything. So these players need to be well-rounded. So it's going to be interesting to see how Cryoc fares in the next match. I think he's really the big underdog of this group overall. Though I'd be surprised if he doesn't go out in the losers match.
Yep, I would have to agree with you, especially considering the map in Neo Aztec. But we're not going on to that for a little while here. We're going to go to a quick break and then come back for the winner's match, which will be Skyline versus True Touch. See you in a bit.
Yep. Be right back.